Okay, next thing I'm going to do here is create an elevation view. And to start with, then I'm just going to go to the View tab, click on the Sheet tool, find the same title block, and I'll drag my south elevation view onto the sheet. And it at the moment is set to 1 to 200, which will be okay here. So I'll just leave it at 1 to 200, but I do need to do some adjusting here on the crop regions. So I'll go to that view in the browser, and just like I did before, I'm going to play with the crop region here. So I'll do crop view on, and then I'll make sure I can see that, and I'll adjust just so that it takes in just the minimum here. And one of the things that happens quite often with Revit is that you'll get your level lines sort of overlapping the building. So you want to make sure that they pull out beyond the building. Notice that the crop region doesn't crop those level lines, so they're still visible outside of that cropping frame. And then the other thing that you'll want to do is you want to make sure that the bottom of your visible kind of crop region here is at the grade line. So you can see I've got my thin lines turned off so I can see really clearly where the grade line is. And I want to just pull up my crop region to just at the bottom of that line. I don't need to show anything underground for my elevation view. And once I've got that set, then I can just turn my crop view off so that's not showing. And the other thing I'm going to do here at this stage is on the elevation views, typically you don't want to have the building obscured by trees. So to turn those off, I'm just going to type in VG and drop down to the bottom and find plantings and turn that off. So they're still in the project. Of course, they're just not showing in this view. So to address some of the graphic issues that come up with elevations, I'm going to turn thin lines off again so I can see my line weights. There we go. And there's two things that will adjust here. One of them is going to be the size of my grid symbols. So if I click on my grid lines and go to Edit Type, then I can see that the family file that's being used for these grid circles is m_gridhead_circle. There's no way to connect to the editing options here directly, so I have to just click on OK, and then in my browser expand Families and Annotation Symbols and find m_gridhead_circle. I'll right click on it and go to Edit, and I'm now in the family editing environment here, so I can just click on the circle, and you'll see that once I do that I get a temporary dimension here for the radius, which is at 6.5. I'll change that to 4, and then I'm going to click on the text, and it's at 4.5 millimeters, so I'm going to select Edit Type, make a duplicate, and I'll set this to a 3 millimeter type. Change the dimension here, change the font if you like. We'll do a Save As, and I'll just call this my m_gridhead_circle 4 millimeters, and I will load that into the project. So now if I go back to that elevation view, I can select the grid again, edit the type, and just swap out this family file with the new one that I just made. And you'll see it's a different font now and much smaller. So same process applies to these datum lines. My geodetic symbols here, if I just click on the level line and then go to Edit Type, I'll see that it's using this file here, the m_levelhead_circle. So I'm going to find that one in the browser, make a new version of it, load it back into the project, and then swap it out right here in this dialog box. So I'll look for m_levelhead_circle, which is right here. Right click, select Edit, and I'm going to turn off or turn on thin lines. I'll click on the circle, and I'll change 4 to, let's say, 2.5. I get a warning here about some constraints. I can just remove those constraints You'll see it shrink down here. The filled regions shrink down as well. And then I'm going to change the text to be something smaller also. It's 3mm text right now. I can click Edit Type, make a duplicate, call it 2mm. And I'll make the background transparent, change the text size to 2, and make a font change again. And change the type on the lower text. And I'll do another Save As. Save these right to the same folder so that they're available for use in other projects. Load it into the project. You won't see anything change initially. Remember that you've got to go back to that view and then select the type that's driving the level lines here. Edit that type and then swap out M-level head circle for the one that you just made. And because all the level lines are using that type, they'll all update. So you don't have to do this one-on-one for each view or for each level line. They'll all update the same way.